boils down to this, folks, and the quarterfinals second legs are just around the corner with Real Madrid on the brink of collapse and Aston Villa needing a major turnaround to get themselves through to the semi-finals. Can they do it? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today is all about the Champions League. It's the quarterfinals, it is the second legs, and they're just around the corner, folks. If you're new where you've been, smash your subscribe and you want to subscribe for Blackburn Rovers, Champions League, World Football. We're going to all hear under one Rooski. That's right, guys and girls, of course. Arsenal on the brink of something special, that's right. But standing in the way is the Bernabeu and Real Madrid. Can they get themselves back into the thick of things? Major turnaround needed. Of course, if anyone's going to do it, they can bloody do it. Take a look at it, all of it, in a second, of course. Big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons. You know who you are. So what we're going to do now, though, is revisit those first legs, bring it back up to date with the prediction league, not the prediction league, the bookies odds, and then, of course, look forward to those second legs and see who I think will be in the semi-finals. So sit tight, hold on. Let's get into it then, shall we? It is the Champions League and it's coming at you coming week. But of course, there's no rest for the wicked. We've got to recap our minds of what went on last time around. And these were those, of course. Look at this one. Top bins. Who'd have thunk it? Arsenal coming out top with a 3-0 win, brother, over Real Madrid and their own backyard. Big win for Arsenal. Think a 2-0. You'd think Real Madrid can get back in it, but it's 3-0. Too big, too far for even the best of the best, Real Madrid. I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's a perfect scoreline for Arsenal, which means Real Madrid have to score 4 to win it outright. 3 will drag it to penalties, and I think 3. I think they can do that. I think Real Madrid can do that. We'll talk about it in a minute, of course. Meanwhile, PSG got themselves a convincing win over Aston Villa, more along the lines of my prediction. I went with a 2-0 win, so 2-goal deficit. Villa got an away goal, but they don't really matter these days. So. Can Villa get 2 goals at Aston Villa Park? Well, we'll see about that. One game I think which is we can put to bed is this one. It is Barcelona. Come out top with a 4-0 win against Dortmund at Barcelona. They won with a 3-0 win, a little bit bigger than that. I just think that's a bit too far now for Dortmund. So I think you can probably pencil in Barcelona into the semi-finals. But who will join them after a shock 2-1 away win for International lastminute.com winner for Inter? To put them into the driving seat as the second leg will be dragged over to Milan. That's right. So, yeah, I think the Champions League is set up pretty much nicely. We got a massive game over at the Bernabeu. But Real Madrid, I think they can do it. But will they do it? If they was to play this game 10 times, how many of them will they come out top? I think they may be looking at 2, 3 times out of the 7. So definitely advantage Arsenal. Meanwhile, Villa, I think that's definitely going to be is definitely in favour of PSG, heavily so. I think they could only maybe win 1 or 2 of them themselves. So it's definitely difficult for Villa and Real Madrid. But I think it is just about possible. The one game I don't think is possible is Dortmund. I think they are done and dusted. So that's, of course, that. Quick look at the bookies odds, then I'll read them to you. So Dortmund currently, they are 8th favourites to lift the trophy. Villa are 7. Real Madrid are Real Madrid are 6th favourites with Bayern 5th. Inter Milan are 4th with Arsenal 3rd, PSG 2nd, and Barcelona top bins, of course. So those are the current state of play. But what about, of course, the second legs? That's where it's all at, folks. So let's, of course, go to Real Madrid. That's the game on Wednesday. Sit down, hold on for this bad boy. It is, of course, Carlo Ancelotti's boys at the Bernabeu. They did finish 11th in that top 8, so just maybe they shouldn't be here in the first place. Up against Arsenal, who did finish 3rd, of course, and they'll be playing Real Madrid for what will be the 6th time. Arsenal have actually got a good record against Real Madrid. They won 3 of the previous 5. Real Madrid just winning them once, and there's been 1 draw. Arsenal, though, unbeaten in the last 6 matches coming into this, and they've got 9 goals scored against Real Madrid over the course of those 5 games, working out around about 1.80 goals a game. Real Madrid have 5 goals against Arsenal, working out around about 1 goal a game over the course of those 5 matches. Now, the last time that they played, again, a lot of those are Mickey Mouse Cups. We're talking International Champions Cup, Emirates Cup. So, no. The last time they played at the Bernabeu, it was a 1-0 win for Arsenal, goodness gracious. That was back in February 2006. The Gunners, though, on the back of that 3-0 win over Real Madrid. They've got this weekend Brentford at home. They're expected to win that game. Real Madrid got Alaves on the road. They're expected also to win that game. It's a massive, massive deficit for Real Madrid. And, of course, a humongous possibility for this Champions League to have a bit of a change. I must be not in my own in my infancy here that we would like to see new winners or a different face Of course, you don't really want an oil tycoon winning it either. So I think Real Madrid being out at the stage would be refreshing. But of course, it's not easy, Kate. It's not an easy contest, this one. I do think Real Madrid will win it. I've gone 3-1, which again, if you are a mathematician, might just be good if you're a gunner. That's right. So meanwhile, let's go to Villa then. They're taking on PSG. That's on Tuesday night. Of course, at Villa Park, Unai Emery's boys are 8th. They finished 8th in the league. 16 points for them for the season. Just one defeat, though. In the last 6, that one defeat was this game, the reverse fixture. Up against PSG and Luis Enrique, they finished 15th right now. 13 points. That's in the league. 13 points for them for the whole campaign. I played Villa just the once. They, of course, 100% form for them over the last 6. And they've not lost any of their last 17 away matches. Now, a 3-1 win for PSG in the first leg puts them in the driving seat. That makes it back-to-back wins for them at home. The last away match was a bit of a spicy one. 4-2 win over Dunkirk over in the Coupe de France semi-final stages. They did, of course, get they were 2-0 down in that game. Come back to win it 4-2. Villa's last home match was a 2-1 win over Forest. They'll take on Southampton this weekend, maybe a prime time opportunity to warm up the guns a little bit before their mouth-watering clash against PSG to see if they can actually make it through to the semi-finals. PSG will go to Le Havre. Actually, they're not going to Le Havre. That's after this match. I'm not too sure who PSG are playing this weekend, if they're playing anybody, of course. But the bookies for this game, and this game alone, still have PSG in the driving seat. I think Villa can win this game. I do think they can. I've gone with a 2-1 win, which I don't think is going to be enough to see them through in the end. Again, we'll get the calculators out in a second. Let's hop on over to Dortmund then, shall we, as Niko Kovac's boys take on Hansi Flick's boys at the Signal Iduna Park. Dortmund, who finished 10th in the league with 15 points, up against Barcelona, who finished 2nd with 19 points. Now, they played 4 times since 2019, 3 wins for Barcelona and just 1 draw. Barcelona, though, haven't lost in the last 22 matches, and they're coming into this red hot, 92% form for them, winning 5 of the last 6. Of those 22 games, they haven't lost any of the last 13 away matches up against the Dortmund side who've won 3 and lost 3 over the last 6. Now, last time around, over at this very venue, we had a thriller. We had a 3-2 win for Barcelona back in December 2024. That was in the Champions League. That was this campaign as well, wasn't it? It was in this little new structure here. 3-2 win. So this will be the 3rd time that they played this season. Barcelona already scored 7 goals against them coming into this also with Leganes on the horizon this weekend. Dortmund taking on Bayern in the Klassiker to get themselves back in contention for the next season's Champions League. Can they do that? So a lot riding on these the biggest week in Dortmund's recent history here to get themselves back in contention for top 4 and also see if they can drag themselves through to this game. Realistically, they should focus on the Klassiker. I think this is going to be a bridge too far for Dortmund. I think they will lose this game over 2 legs. I've gone with a 2-2 draw on the night. They might get a couple goals in it. I think Barcelona's quality will be too good in the end. And then finally, we go to Internazionale as they host Bayern at the Giuseppe Meazza. Simone Inzaghi's boys are 4th in the league, or they were 4th in the league. They're unbeaten in at least the last 11. They're rocking 83% form for them over the last 6. They're taking on a Bayern side who finished 12th, 15 points for them in the course of the season, just 1 defeat in the last 5. They played each other 12 times since 2006. 6 wins Bayern, 5 wins Inter, and there's been 1 draw. Inter have got a 2-0 win on the record. They've got 12 goals scored against them, just averaging around about 1 goal a game. Up against Bayern, have a 4-1 win on the record. They scored 16 goals in the last 12 matches against them, working at 1.33 goals a game. Now, the last time that these two sides played over in Italy, it was a 2-0 win for Bayern way back in September 2022. So definitely on the cards. So this was actually their first defeat against Inter in the last 3. Inter, though, will be taking on Cagliari this weekend. Are expected to win that game. Bayern will be taking on, of course, Dortmund in the Klassiker over at the Allianz Arena as well. They're expected to win that game. But this game, Bayern have still got the edge. They still are the fancied on this one. I'm not so much. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this could be a bridge too far as well for Bayern. I've gone with a 1-0 win for Inter, which, again, if you're a mathematician like me, you will know that there's not going to be enough. So, of course, if I'm right with these predictions, and of course you combine them with the aggregate scorings, this is what we're left with. In the top of the shop there, Arsenal will go through 7 goals on total over the course of 2 legs. Meanwhile, Aston Villa will beat a PSG over at Villa Park, but I don't think the 2-1 is going to be enough. I've got it 4-3 going in favour of PSG. Now, if I'm right, it looks like it will have a spicy semi-final, but we'll get to that in a minute. Meanwhile, Dortmund, of course, 2-2 on the night. They'll lose 6-2 on aggregate. Barcelona comfortably going through. And Internazionale will join them in those semi-finals as well with a 3-1 aggregate scoreline over Bayern, that's right. So my semi-finals look a little bit like this. It'll be Arsenal, PSG, and Barcelona and Inter. It is a classic-looking Champions League. We have the big boys in there, but of course we have a spicy situation on our hands. But that is what I think. Let me know what you think down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there hope for Villa? Is there hope for bloody Bayern? We'll take a look at all, of course, your predictions down below. But until then, see you soon. Smash the like. Catch you later. Until then, we're done.